Hello, I'm Paul Robinson. I'm the Executive Director of RISE, and this webinar is going to be an introduction to our latest Riverine Challenge number 2. I'll just share my screen and we'll start. As it goes through this, there's a lot of information on these slides, but by working your way through the recorded version of this presentation, we'll give you plenty of time to read the information, understand it, come up with questions that we'd be happy to answer. And at the end, there's a QR code which gives you a link to the information on the web. So we'll start off here. We're talking about the RISE Riverine Community Resilience Challenge. What I want to do is to give a little bit of background for those of you who may not be familiar about where it came from and our overall process in developing the Riverine challenges, as well as what the topic areas are and what you can expect as an applicant and a finalist and possibly a winner. So we are focused on the riverine flooding issues, in particular in southwest and western parts of Virginia. Those are the areas that were affected by Helene back in late last year, late in the hurricane season, as well as significant flooding events in February of this year. The history of this Riverine Challenge came about in 2023 when Virginia Department of Housing and Community Development came to RISE after a flooding event in Buchanan County, which is what is shown here on the on this slide. This is Buchanan County, and there's an overlay of the rainfall map for the Hurley event back in 2021, which severely damaged that small community. The year after, in 2022, in Whitewood, in Pilgrim's Knob, there was a town that got very severely damaged by riverine flooding again. And just a few months ago in 2025, in February, Hurley got flooded again. So this is a problem not just for Buchanan County, but it's for that whole region, including North Carolina and the surrounding states. So we've been working. We launched our first challenge last year to find solutions to help these communities. This is a map just to give you a bigger picture. This is Virginia, and these numbers here are the numbers of the planning district commissions, the PDCs, that we work with. They're overlaid on the FEMA riverine flooding map, so you can see this whole region up and down the western part of the state and into West Virginia and surrounding states are significantly affected by riverine flooding. We started off by just working with the first 4 PDCs here in our first challenge. This is FEMA's national map of riverine flooding, and you can see that although it's a significant threat to Western Virginia and the surrounding states, it's also a significant threat coast to coast. So any solutions that are being developed and tested as part of this challenge should have a pretty large market to expand into once they have been tested and demonstrated. So we've launched a number of challenges, as mentioned. The first challenge in 2024, the first Riverine Challenge, resulted in 4 pilot programs, as shown here. 2 in Cumberland Plateau region, which is the Buchanan County area, 1 in Botetourt County, and 1 in the town of Narrows. So we worked on these 3 topic areas. We looked for solutions there, and we funded 4 pilot programs running from July of 2024 through the end of this year. The challenge, Riverine Challenge 2, which is what we are talking about here today, looks at the same topic areas, but an additional couple, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. We're also focusing on the PDCs 1 through 7. So it's this whole region here it is what we are focused on applying solutions to. Submissions open March 2025, and their pilot programs will run from July 25 through the end of 26. I'll be giving another a more detailed schedule in a few slides. Next year, our plan is to implement flood protection coverage through the whole region. That could be extending successful winners' solutions from the county or PDC type of implementation through the entire region. And we plan on launching that one in July of 2026. So there's an opportunity here to address significant issues, significant threats to communities in multiple states, and to extend the reach of the successful products throughout the region. There's a little bit of background about the problem of riverine flooding itself and the damage it can cause. What we're looking for in solutions are solutions that understand and companies understand the risk and can assess the risk to communities and to the region. We're looking for innovation and scalability, so as these solutions can grow into other markets and other regions. The community engagement is very important. The people out in these regions are looking for help, and they don't want solutions forced on them. They want to be part of implementing and using the solutions. So community engagement is a very important part. Also looking at the overall regional resilience and adaptation. In many cases, particularly in riverine flooding, there's once that flooding starts and it's flash flooding, there's not much that can be done, but there's certainly plenty that can be done before or after that sort of an event. And also we're looking for solutions to be sustainable, so as they're not going to rely on our funding or other sources of funding in ways that are not sustainable and can't keep the solution going. The application process is a two-step. We're looking for initial submissions, and you'll see that information on our website. We will be having some webinars here, informational webinars, as well as to get you access to hear people who are actually from and encounter these situations firsthand, as well as giving you some ideas and information on how best to craft your submission. We will select some finalists and have them present to our selection committee. And from those, our selection committee will pick the winners. So why apply? Well, this is a real problem. This type of flooding, as we saw last year with Helene, and in the past few years, and as early as in February this year to this region, they are very affected by riverine flooding. So this is a large community and a large area that needs help. We can help winners get access to funding, mentorship, networking opportunities, as well as help in setting up and growing their business. We can expand your reach of your products, help you get access to other communities, other regions, and integrate your solutions there. And this RISE has established a community of innovators and very fast-moving small companies working in a number of different resilience areas, and you'll get access to all of them, and as well as recognition for your efforts and plenty of acknowledgement of your successes. You can propose for up to $300,000 in non-equity funding. and you will get access to real-world infrastructure. You will get access to the regions and to the people working in the region and their processes and their infrastructure. We can also provide an accelerator to help you with your enterprise readiness. If you need workspace, fabrication, whatever you need, data sets, we can provide access to that. We can link you up with experts and stakeholders, people who will actually end up using your products. And we have, as I mentioned, we have a very entrepreneurial community that you'll be introduced to and you'll be a part of as a winner. We can also provide support with permitting and regulatory technical assistance. And of course, you will be, as a winner, you will be promoted as part of our PR and media processes. Challenge timelines, we start in March 27. The challenge is launched. We will be having 3 informational webinars. April 7th is going to be this one with a Q&A after it. We're also going to have an informational webinar at some date that we are just firming up, and the information will be on the website. And we'll have a final one on the 28th of April to answer any questions and help those people who want to submit. Application deadline is May 5th, 2025, 2 p.m. And finalists will be announced on May 10th, 2025. They will be asked to submit additional documentation, more detailed information on their proposed work. That will need to be submitted by May 20th. And we will be judging that and announcing the winners in June of 2025. This is a little summary of our track record to date. We have run 40 pilots, 40 programs. We've funded them. We've had, as part of our challenges, submissions of over 350 submissions. 180 jobs have been created or retained, including, well, in addition to 400 that have jobs, people who have been trained in climate resiliency related industries. We have provided over $8 million to companies to run their pilots, and many of those companies collectively have gone on to raise $48 million in private funding. So this is a sequence of our challenge, a continued sequence of our challenges. Just briefly on the topic areas, more information will be available on the web, and as always, please fire us off with questions as you think through what your solution might be. The first topic area is landscape and building adaptations, and that could be a number of things: dry or wet floodproofing, building elevation, or demolition and relocation, or repair, that sort of thing after an event. Other topic area is early warning systems to alert of significant events. The important part here is, even though the elements are readily available in various forms out there, it's really the end-to-end piece of making the observation and forecast of a significant event and getting the warning to the right people at the right time to do the best they can to protect themselves and then recover after the event. Next topic is an insurance protection to help local residents, and the insurance companies help protect these communities to recover after an event and to provide them with the resources and the guidance needed to recover and rebuild their community. The next topic is we're looking for product integration. The planning district commissions, the EMS, the emergency management services out there, they are resource limited, and it can be sometimes very daunting, even though appealing to adopt a solution to their flooding problem, if they don't have the people or the time or the funds to to implement them properly. Um, our winners can help that by integrating products as they see fit, as makes sense, to make it easier and more efficient for these communities and departments to implement and use these solutions. And finally, what's very important after a significant event, we saw this last year, and in every flooding event, so riverine flooding event so far, is very important to get the local businesses up and running again, and to get the people back to work at these communities. Without that, it's very tempting for the residents who have been significantly affected by flooding to just pick up and leave and go and move elsewhere, which it can be the end of a small town. So there's a number of areas that we are looking at and interested in to help these companies recover and get back on their feet and get their employees working again after an event. And there are some real life examples. For example, in Damascus, Virginia, after Helene, they had a number of businesses that were damaged and may or may not come back. The interesting thing about that part is that many of these businesses were going concerns. They had customers, they had revenues, they had incomes, and some of them were very successful. And those are the companies that it's very important to bring back as we can. So upcoming webinars, as mentioned, April 7th at 12:30, I will be answering questions based on this webinar and any questions you might have. We are going to bring in some subject matter experts in April, and there'll be more information on that on our website. And then on Monday, April 28th, excuse me, I'll be back on to answer any final questions that anyone might have before submission. And there's our QR code and my email address. Please feel free to reach out. We'll field as many questions as we can, and there are no stupid questions. We just want to make sure that you are working on the right thing that you feel you want to submit. So feel free to reach out to us, and we'll look forward to talking to you some more. Thank you.